Hello, this is Y from Drone Rental Supply, and today we're going to go over this backpack. It's my preferred way of carrying my DJI Phantom 2. It's made by GoPro Professional Cases, and we're going to take a closer look at what all I carry inside this backpack. Now, the backpack is sold by GoPro Professional Cases, but the manufacturer of the backpack itself is by 511. They make a lot of law enforcement and military gear, although you can use their backpacks for any purpose. This particular one is called the Rush 72, or you can think of it as a 3-day pack. It's made by a 1000D nylon, so it's very strong, but it's relatively light. The overall size of the backpack is about 2,900 cubic feet, and all the zippers are YKK zippers. So let's go ahead and look at this small front pocket. In here you have a nice little sleeve in the back, which you can fit papers or anything that's really small. Up front you have a nice mesh pocket, and in here I have a Gerber multi-tool. This specific one is the Gerber suspension. And I always like having a multi-tool with me in case I need to work on my drone, or if somebody needs to work on something that they have. So now let's take a look at the front large pocket. So as you can see, there's plenty of MOLLE webbing up in front in which you can attach pouches like this water bottle pouch. In here I have a nice red Nalgene water bottle, which I only fill about half full because I don't really want to carry around a lot of water with me. If you're curious on what the pouch is, here's the accessory. It doesn't exactly match the sandstone color of the backpack, but it comes pretty close. Here's the specifics. I will add it in the comments below, but I put it off to the side so that if I actually needed to add another water bottle pouch, I can do that and put it up front. So now let's go ahead and look at the pouch itself. So if we go inside, you'll see that we have a lot of mesh pockets. Here we have a top mesh pocket, and in here I have a little clip for my iPad mini. I can clip on my iPad mini and then have it on a holder of some sort, but nice wide pouch. Back here we have another zipper, and in here I actually have my first aid kit, and it's a nice deep pocket so that I can actually fit a very large first aid kit in here. You should always have a first aid kit with you anywhere you go, and since I use this backpack and I'm never really sure where I'm going to be at, it's always nice to have a first aid kit. The mesh pocket up front, up here, I actually have a USB cable. This is what I use to charge the DJI controller. So I fit that in here. And then we have two more deep pockets. And the only thing that I carry in this deep pocket is actually my business cards. You know, I use this for business, so it's always good to have extra business cards with me. Let me put this back in. And the last thing that I have over here is a flashlight. I know a lot of people like to use flashlights from their camera phones, but it's always nice to have a dedicated flashlight because your battery to your phone, that's really important. That's how I use to communicate, so not draining the battery using it as a flashlight is always a good thing. So let's take a moment to talk about this space in here. Now if you take a look, what 511 did here was they wanted to make a space where you can fit something like a helmet. It's just basically like an expanding cavity with some mesh on the sides to hold things together. So what I like to do is I actually like to hold this Maxpedition cubicle, and what it does is that I can put stuff in here whenever I need to travel for an extended period of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and fill this up with some clothing. So through the power of camera magic, I went ahead and I filled this cubicle full of clothing so that we can go ahead, close it up, and let you see what it looks like when it's full of clothing. We can actually fit a lot more into here, but this is just an example of what I would carry if I was using this for an overnight trip. So once I have it in here, I can go ahead, stuff it back in, And then it's a little bit tighter fit now, but you can still use these to cinch it down. And now my drone backpack has turned into something that I can use for an overnight trip. So moving to the side of the backpack, what we have here is a nice long pocket. Now, because of all of the foam inside the main compartment, this pocket is actually kind of tough to get stuff into here. You can see that in these sleeves right here, you don't really have a lot of room, so only very thin objects or paper. For this particular pocket, the only thing I have in here is some nylon rope. As somebody who likes to be on the outdoors, you always have rope with you, so this is where I keep it. As you can see, there's actually plenty of room for other things as long as they're relatively slim, but that's the only thing I keep in there. Moving on to the back of the backpack, you have these nice shoulder straps, and they're very, very thickly padded, so they're pretty comfortable. The only thing I don't like is that the webbing right here, it tends to be a little short. So for my broad shoulders, they tend to flare out a little bit. If you look at the back, there is a compartment back here that you can use for a hydration pack. For me, I actually carry just something that I can wear if I'm using this for professional use. This is a way to make myself visible. This is a high-vis vest. You can also put a laptop in here, or maybe even an iPad. Moving down to the bottom, you have some waist straps. And if you don't like to use them, like me, because I'm using this just for short trips, you can go ahead and fold them in and then tuck them back in. Moving on to this side, this is where I actually keep my tripod. This is actually what I use to hold my iPad mini when I'm flying my drone. I generally don't like to keep my monitor on my controller. It just makes it more heavier. So I go ahead and I just put a tripod, or I carry a tripod with me. This particular pocket isn't made to hold this tripod, but for my purposes, it can easily just get it in there, stuff it in there, and it'll kind of work. But that's what I use it for. And lastly, we film up top here. We actually have a small little backpack, or small pocket, in which we can actually fit only very thin pieces of paper. As I said before, since this is filled with foam to protect your Phantom, it was supposed to be used to carry your sunglasses, but all that foam is taking up all that space. So the only thing I use it for is to actually hold this nylon rope in case I can't use this strap to hold on to the tripod. I can actually use this rope and tie it to this tripod. So that's the only thing I use this top part for. And the next thing we'll talk about is the inside compartment. So let's go ahead and take a look at the main compartment. These zippers, they're quite nice. They're nice and strong, and they zip all the way down. So first thing that we're going to talk about before we actually talk about the inside of the main compartment is what I did here is I lined these mesh pockets with 1-inch memory foam. So this gives an extra layer of protection on the front side of the backpack, which is the top of the drone. And what I like about memory foam is that since it conforms to whatever it touches, it gives it a nice snug feel for the drone so it doesn't move around during transportation. Down at the bottom, we have our propellers, the ones that we actually use, and you should always carry a few extras with you, and there's a nice long compartment down here which lets you do that. Up top, if you prefer to not use your smartphone, you have a large enough space to carry an iPad mini, which is my preferred way of doing FPV. So here's my iPad mini with a nice little sun hood, and then you already saw the tripod that I use with this iPad mini. Now if we look at the main compartment, here's our DJI Phantom 2, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And then nice snug space for our controller. I never actually use this clip. As I said before, I much prefer the iPad mini be on a tripod rather than me having to hold an iPad mini using this clip. Although if I have to, I can. Now going to this side, here are space for 3 batteries. And then we always carry our charger with us in case we actually have to go anywhere and we have to charge up our batteries. Here's the pouch full of small accessories that hopefully we'll never have to use because we never want to crash our drone. And then over here we have the charger for our iPad mini. The batteries on it usually last for the entire day, but if you leave it on or if you're watching some videos, you might need to charge it. And that looks like is it. So that's everything that we carry with us. If you think that there should be more stuff or less stuff, please leave it in the comments below. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comments below. Also, check out our blog where we're gonna have a detailed list of everything that's inside this backpack. And we hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.